All right, we're ready to go.
All right. I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone to this meeting of the city's Development and Zoning Review Committee. At tonight's meeting, the interested party will introduce and provide a presentation on a development proposal that would be located within the city of Wildwood. Tonight's meeting provides this interested party the opportunity to propose a concept and then hear feedback from this committee, which is composed of key city decision makers. One meeting is normally offered for this purpose. However, in certain instances, a second discussion may follow. It is important to note this concept plan is in a very preliminary and informal stage of the city's review process, such as subject to changes if it proceeds to the formal submission process. The committee welcomes the public's attendance tonight via the Zoom webinar platform or streaming on YouTube, but given the preliminary and informal nature of the presentation, public comment is not being sought at this time. If the proposed development does proceed to the formal submission process, members of the public will have numerous opportunities to address the city's Planning and Zoning Commission and/or City Council regarding it at that time. The committee would like to thank you for your attendance at tonight's meeting. Can I get a roll call of committee members, please?
Councilmember Garetano,
Present.
Councilmember Galani, uh, Councilmember Brost, Mayor Boland,
Here.
and Chair Beatty.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does the Department of Planning have any opening comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair, very briefly, as has been the practice with this particular committee, we've provided you a packet of information. Along with that packet of information tonight is the first amended set of bylaws. The amendment was requested by the Development and Zoning Review Committee to accommodate a second meeting if a due cause is shown. And so our city attorney, John Young, has prepared a draft for your consideration and action tonight.
Okay. All right. So we just need a motion to accept the new bylaws.
If they are satisfactory to the three committee
Okay.
members, yes, I would request a motion second, and we could do that by voice vote.
All righty. Is there a motion or any comment? Councilman Garetano?
I'll
Sorry.
make that motion.
All right. And
Second.
Mayor Boland seconds. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of accepting the new bylaws, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? All right. Motion carries. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Regarding the petition tonight, it involves a property that we all know and has been part of Wildwood since its incorporation, and that's West County Feed and Supply. It's approximately 3 acres plus in size and located on what is the southwest corner of West Avenue and Manchester Road. The property has been used for retail purposes, plus parking and storage of materials. And as I say, it is kind of an icon of that particular stretch of Manchester Road, which is also Route 66. Tonight, there is a business entity that's interested in developing the property for a microbrewery, which would include the sale of some food, pizza primarily, and then has also, at the urging of the department, provided you what they see as a long-term plan for the property. And so the information provided by the petitioner shows 3 phases, and I will defer to them to basically go through those. Along with that information, we provided you the standard components, the regulating plan map of town center, which indicates this area's workplace, the list of uses that are permitted in the workplace district, which includes microbreweries, and then finally, the nuts and bolts of how to develop in that particular workplace district. And so if there are any questions for Mr. Brown, Mr. Lee, Mr. Newberry, or I, we'd be glad to answer them at this time. And we do appreciate Mr. Tripp being here with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vunich. Mr. Tripp, would you like to give us a presentation of your plan?
Yes, absolutely. Let me see if I can share my screen here.
Mr. Tripp, Do you need anybody else on that list of people on the screen with you?
No, I'm sure I can get a recap of that at the end.
Okay.
Okay. And I believe you all have this presentation as well. So hopefully I can just go through some of the stuff and you can ask me if I have any questions. But you know the property pretty well that we're talking about. A little bit a background of who we are. We are Good News Brewing Company. We started in O'Fallon, Missouri, in the top left corner here. We started in a real small retail space with a 1-barrel brew system. It's a pretty small space, but that has helped us grow. We actually were selling more beer than we could physically make, and so we were using another brewery to make beer for us at that time, called Contract Brewing. And so then we were able to purchase our Defiance location. This is the location I'm at right now. It's right on the Katy Trail. It's on Highway 94, and this has become our most, I would say, popular space that people from St. Louis know us. We actually have a lot of customers who come from the Wildwood area. And so that's another one of the reasons why we are interested in this area, because we already have a customer base in this area. We outgrew the physical brew house of the space. And so then we purchased the Augusta Brewing Company farther down the road. And then about a year and a half ago, we opened up Good News Frenchtown in the North St. Charles area. So that was about a year and a half ago. And so now we've been trying to get into the St. Louis County area, and we feel like Wildwood would be the perfect fit for us. As I said, we already have a perfect demographics, and because we're not your downtown, I would say, hipster style brewery. We are your mom and pop, your neighborhood place where you could walk your dogs, bring your kids. We're very family friendly, and so that's why we think Wildwood would be the perfect next step for us. So we will be following what we call the Good News Defiance model. So we have counter service, so we don't have servers walking around taking orders. It helps us kind of reduce the staff number down, and that's just a more free for all. Get up, walk around, go to the picnic table that you want to. Kids can walk around, bring your dogs. That's the kind of the model that we're going to be following for this. I know in the first kind of initial meeting that I had, concerns were the time. We are a family-friendly place, and we close at 10 p.m. So being open late at night, having music should not be a problem. We don't know the exact hours of this location, but it's most likely going to follow our O'Fallon hours, probably closed Mondays and Tuesdays, evenings, Wednesday, Thursdays, and all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you can kind of see those hours. So here's kind of the overview of what we're going to do. We want to keep this, the existing building, I think, has a lot of character. It's pretty neat. We want to keep it as simple as possible. That's kind of our model. We follow a minimalist approach to things. We really like this space because physically it reminds us of our Defiance location. We love the trees. We love the gravel lots. So we will put a walk-in cooler on the outside. I'll show you that. We're going to need to put some bathrooms that are ADA. We will install a wood fire pizza oven. We'll paint the building white and black. We do know that we need some parking lot. We'll probably use the goal right now is 50 parking spots to kind of start phase one. We'll have some shade sails to kind of protect some of the areas. And then we are going to plan food truck hookups. So we're looking at putting those in the front of the building. My first meeting with the city a little bit, we talked about putting some picnic tables in that first covered area, but instead we'd like to put food truck hookups right there. So that actually creates a space for customers to wait. If it's raining, they'll be protected under the area like that. We won't have food trucks all the time. This will be temporarily. Typically when we have bands or music, and again, when I say bands, we're talking acoustic bands. We're not talking full large concerts, but we'll have music, we'll have food trucks, but we'll always have wood fire pizza. We will build an outdoor stage. And then depending on the numbers, we're still waiting on a lot of information still, but we're hoping to do some bocce ball courts that'll have artificial turf where kids and families can play games outside. So the outside, you can see the picture on the bottom left. We'll keep it simple, white and black. That's metal. It won't be metal building. We're just going to paint it white and black with some black trim on the bottom. The front of it, the facade, the south side of the building, we are going to cover that. So that will cover up our walk-in cooler, and we will have an outdoor bar on that area. But the front, we'll probably just do something more just cosmetics to make it look like a cool and inviting space for people to hang out and gather. Here's an overview of what we're going to do inside. I'll kind of start with that. The inside of the building, you can see In the orange square, this is where we have our wood fire pizza oven. All of our ovens just have a direct vent straight out the ceiling. So people will be able to see them making pizzas right there in front. This is very similar to our O'Fallon location. We'll have a bar where people will go to order. You can see there's some 4-compartment sinks there under there. And then we'll have a kitchen area where we will kind of hide up all of our dishes and have a 3-compartment sink in there. We need to expand the bathrooms a little bit. Our architect was kind of recommending more than kind of what's expected, but we'd like to do 2 stalls in each of those. Then you can see the walk-in cooler on the outside of the building, and that's strategically placed so we can pull taps right next to that door. To the right side of that door, we can pull beer off of those taps, and then we can also have taps on the outside, so you can see like a little outdoor bar there. So on nice days, we can have 2 different lines for serving beer. We will include a dumpster enclosure, and that's going to be we're waiting on where our survey comes in to figure out where the best place for that is. So here's kind of a 3D design of what we do. We follow we do picnic tables and pub tables. That's our that's what we do. And so it's going to follow. If you go to any of our other locations, you'll kind of see the same model. Defiance is actually a little different just because when we purchased this building, it already had all the furniture and we didn't buy the furniture. But yeah, picnic tables is what we go for. Then parking. Right now it's based off, and again, this might change based on when we turn in the official site plan, but right now the internal seating is 72 seats. And so that's, 6 employees at max capacity. And so following your code, it looks like we, minimum just to do the inside, we would need 32 parking spaces. But as I said earlier, our goal is to get 50. And so I can kind of go into what the outside site plan looks like. So if you can look at here, we want to do parking on there's already an existing parking lot. And so the area that's not shaded orange is, I would say, considered the existing parking lot. And so we would expand some parking to, the east side of that and then to the west side of that. And, just a long stretch of be able to just drive in. And then I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The patio, I kind of showed you the picture earlier on that one side of the building. We would do a concrete patio with that that facade above it. That would be, where we would probably connect shade sails. I'll go over that in a second. We will do a shipping container for storage next to the walk-in cooler for different things. We will do a stage, and that location will be kind of determined based off of numbers of what we can do. Did you see the little blue squares that are next to those rectangles? Those big, long gray rectangles would be bocce ball courts. That would be artificial turf courts where, like I said, beanbag games, toss games, bocce ball, those big triangles would be shade sails to cover up those areas. And then those blue sections here, I kind of a rendering of what that would look like. Those would be similar to like a cabana where you could rent those, and a family could reserve those and have all the games that they need. The other ones would be open for the public all the time, but some of them would be designated for people to rent. When I say stage, this is the stage that we'd be building, and this is actually the design of those little patios, those covered patios on the end of the bocce ball courts. This is the exact same stage that we have at our Defiance location. Our Augusta location has a covered patio like this as well. So it just kind of fits that good news, that branding, and just simple lean-to with a metal roof. The bocce ball court concepts, the idea is to keep as many trees as possible, especially the big tree on the southern part of the area, and build the courts on both sides of that tree, so it'll create natural shade and just kind of keeps the beautification of the area. And you can kind of see these are just concepts, ideas, but you can kind of see these pergolas on the end of these courts. That's the concept of what it would be, is there'd be a pergola or a little lean-to on each end of the courts. We are very bike friendly. All of our locations, we have a strong cycling and running and community, and so we will have we'll have parking spots for bikes. And I saw that Wildwood is kind of promoting that by giving stickers and encouraging people to ride by giving discounts. We would love to participate in that and encourage families to ride their bikes here. So as mentioned, I guess I can stop right there. Before I go into phase 2, do you have questions or you want me to keep going?
Mayor Bullen, you're muted. you're still muted.
I know, I'm trying to get,
Oh.
I know, I'm trying to get my screen worked out here.
Okay.
So just, I guess, a couple of things. And I'm assuming Councilmember Garitano is still with us at this point. There he is. So I really only have one negative relative to this, and that is that Councilmember Garitano is going to get all the credit for it when you get it done, because it's absolutely fantastic for our city. So I'm happy to listen to more, but I don't need to see any more. I've actually, as you know, I've been to your Defiance location. It is spectacular. And
Agreed.
This just fits beautifully with the city in so many ways. I don't know how many bells you could possibly ring. I've seen a lot of these come through the committee here and also at Planning and Zoning. And I don't think I could pick one that is more suitable on so many levels for the city than this. And so if a motion is in order, I would make a motion that we recommend proceeding as soon as you possibly can with bringing this outstanding new business to our city.
Oh, go ahead.
Is that for me, David? You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, I heard the
Okay.
voice and I didn't
Okay.
catch who it was.
Yeah, and I'll be happy to go ahead and second that. So I do want to share just some feedback, and I reviewed your plan. So Dan, thank you so much for coming to us with this idea for this location. You know, this location marketed their sale, I think, back in the fall of 2022, and I understand that they were planning on just keeping that store open until they could sell. So it's nice to be able to see what could be the potential for the next phase of this location here. So I love the excitement that you bring and your preparation for tonight's meeting. What you mentioned, just some of the things that you mentioned, targeting that family audience. I think that hits right there, the spot that's what we have around that area. We have people, we have families. So it sounds like that would be a great fit. I love the idea of wood-fired pizza. We need that in Wildwood, so I am a big fan of that. You answered a question as far as what kind of music I was wondering, so I'm glad you mentioned the acoustic part of it there, and then the bike-friendly part. That's something that's very big for our city as well. So yeah, what I'm seeing here, it's something that we hear a lot in our surveys when we conduct surveys with our residents. One of the things I can tell you, I keep seeing over and over and over again, it's just, we want a family type of place. Sounds like pizza, you know, the adults can have a beverage. There are some games, activities for that. So all the feedback, I will give you just some additional feedback, something that maybe you can either think about or how you want to address or work with the department. The only thing I think I would say is with the music, you know, being outside, which way will that music project because of the density of the homes around there? And the reason I only say that is I hear today some of those homes in that area call about Wildwood Pub and Grill's music coming over right across the road from this location. So I would love to just kind of make sure you're aware of that. It sounds like you addressed some of that with your hours and your days, but you know, maybe the way you position that stage or how we can work to make sure that fits in well there. So I wanted to give you that feedback because I think that's important, knowing what we hear and see from folks.
Yeah, I agree with what Councilman Garitano says. I happen to live across the street from this feed store. I am on the other side of the hill from the roundabout, so I think the hill blocks a lot of that noise from Wildwood Pub and Grill. I do pick it up on occasion, but it's only when I'm outside. So that's my comment on that. But been to Defiance occasionally. I told my wife this was coming tonight, and she got super excited. So I'm sad to see the feed store go, but I only go there for birdseed like once or twice a year. So this will be a welcome addition.
So I think folks in Wildwood have been yearning for something, something like of this type of business, just because of the surveys. And I put that out. I put out this is a public meeting, so I shared information that you shared, and it was very positive, the feedback that I heard.
Good. That makes me happy to hear that too. And yeah, looking forward to food trucks. I've been kind of grumpy ever since Lion's Choice closed down. That was the one restaurant that was easy for me to walk to from my house. But
well, you have my second there, with the mayor's motion there.
All right. And I'm also in favor. So I think we're good to go on this if no one has any other questions or comments.
I don't. Travis, I sent you an email relative to this, if you could just respond to that. But I want to thank you, Mr. Tripp, as well. As Joe mentioned, it's great that you've taken an interest in our city, and I have no doubt that this will be a successful venture for you. And we look forward to working with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr.
Thanks.
Chair, before you adjourn, can we just get a voice vote on the motion made by?
Sure. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right.
And if I could just beg one more minute of your time, Mr. Tripp didn't quite mention this, but I think it's an important factor. He told Tom Lee, our city administrator, and the others from the Department of Planning, he's been looking in this area for a couple of years. So he's had it on his radar, and we're glad he found someplace.
Question for Director Vunich while you're here. So thank you for putting in the ordinance that goes back from 1993 that says this is a commercial. So is that going to require a rezoning, or is that already commercial from that ordinance there?
I'm thinking right now it's just an amendment to the existing ordinance. So it's one meeting at the Planning and Zoning Commission, then the public hearing at City Council, and then the bill preparation and passage. So it could be an expedited review and could all occur within a couple of months.
Thanks for that clarification.
Mayor Bullen?
Well, I think Mr. Benich just answered my question, which was going to be, assuming that Mr. Tripp and his team have this to planning and zoning at the earliest opportunity. Well, I guess that's my first question. Whether it could be, is everyone prepared on his team and the city, I guess, to have this at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting in May?
No, from my understanding, we have to have an engineer drawing site plan.
And again, as you know, the age of this particular property doesn't meet any of the stormwater requirements.
Okay, well, that's all right. Then my second and greater question is, how quickly can we get from formal application, initially starting planning and zoning through to completion, assuming the Planning and Zoning Commission favors as we do this business?
Well, Mr. Lee, Mr. Newberry, and I have not talked with Mr. Tripp, but I would like to think we could have him in a position to get started sometime in fall, meaning that potentially have customers there for the best part, the fall season in Wildwood, which is always beautiful.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Motion by the mayor, seconded by Councilman Garetano. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? All right. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Good
Yes.
luck, Mr.